to the e-learning portal of GIF, and this is session 10, INCOTERMS 2020, and this is the third video. In the previous video, we studied what INCOTERMS 2020 terms do, and also what the 2020 terms do not do. In this video, we're going to start with changes between the 2010 INCOTERMS and 2020 rules. The significant changes are 7. First is the bill of lading with an onboard notation and the FCA INCOTERM rule. It was quite ambiguous, and now there is clarification of the extent to which X-words can be used, and because the characteristics of X-words were quite, close to FCA, there were difficulties, and buyers may require onboard notification on documents for use in for other purposes, and this publication clarifies the need for such notations to be made when the free carrier term is chosen. 2. Costs and where they are listed. In 2010, costs related to carriage would still come under carriage, costs related to insurance would come under insurance, and they were all over the place. But in this 2020 rules, all the costs are grouped under one heading where costs are, so that if you want to refer to or look for costs for a seller, you can look under costs, the appropriate article for costs for seller, and all the costs will be put there. 3. Different levels of insurance cover for CIF and CIP. It was quite contentious what had to be done, but in 2020 rules, it has been clarified what the seller should do. If buyer wants the seller to have a higher cover, then it has to be agreed. Otherwise, the status quo is quoted, is specified in 2020. 4. Arrangement of carriage with sellers and buyers' own means of transport in FCA, DAP, DPU, and DDP. In 2010, the carriage was always thought to be done by a third party, the freight forwarder or a transporter, other than using the seller's own means of transport or that of the buyer. So it was quite difficult to allocate the cost of transportation, where it should be. Here it has been clarified, and sellers and buyers are allowed to use their own means of transport, and the cost can be, really allocated to where they should be. So there will be no dispute about, any cost owing to transportation. 5. Change in the 3-letter initials for DAT and DPU. The characteristics or details on the DAT in 2010 has changed. So if you want to utilize what DAT was, for 2010 in 2020, you'll be mistaken. It has changed. So also we have a new INCOTERM DPU, which has picked up rather, one of the old terms. Inclusion of security-related requirements with carriage obligations and cost. Before 9/11, security requirements were not, really prominent, but post 9/11, security requirements have become very important, and there may be cost to it. There may be other sort of cost, information that seller have to seek for buyer, and other costs. All these costs are put in the heading of cost. 7. Explanatory notes for users. The 2020 rules are very user-friendly. All matters of, explanation to seller and buyer are put there for you to refer to, and that makes it very useful. Those are the 7 main changes between INCOTERMS 2010 rules and 2020 rules. The A and B articles have also been simplified in 2020 publication. All the clauses for the seller are under A, and clauses for buyer are under B, and they are grouped under 10 headings. These headings are: 1. General obligation. So there will be general obligation for seller, that will be 1A, and the general obligations to buyer will be 1B. 2. Delivery and taking delivery. The 2A will be for seller, 2B will be for buyer. 3 will be transfer of risk. 4 is carriage. 5 is insurance. 6 is delivery or transport documents. 7 is export or import clearance. 8 is checking, packing, and marking. 9 is about allocation of costs. So all the costs pertaining to the seller's obligation are 9A, and all the costs to buyer will be 9B. Notices from seller will be under 10. So 10A will be notices expected of the seller, and notices under buyer will be 10B. So that is the order in the 10A and B articles.